When you're spending six figures on a luxury convertible, you're probably not in the mood to compromise, and that's what this car is all about. This is the brand new McLaren 720S Spider. Spider means convertible in McLaren terms, and it's the drop-top version of the 720S Coupe. Now, this car's whole purpose is to show that you can have open-top motoring and wind in your hair, but without having to sacrifice any of the performance driving that people have come to expect from the 720S Coupe. And that means starting back in 2013, when they were first designing this car with a convertible in mind. And even though the 720S Coupe arrived years before this car has, it's still based on that same core principle, and that's a carbon fiber tub. It's about reducing weight as much as possible. It's about putting the structural elements in place that even when you remove the roof, it's not going to affect it. And it's about putting a really, really powerful engine in the back so that makes it a lot of fun. Now, this is no softened, pared-back convertible. This is a full-power, full-potency 720S that just so happens to not have a top on. Under the back, we've got the same 4-litre V8 twin-turbo engine, and that's paired with a 7-speed transmission with paddle shifters and beautiful carbon fibre. And you still get 710 horsepower, and you still get 568 pounds-per-foot of torque, and you still get that all-important 212 mile-per-hour top speed. Now, with the roof down, there's a compromise there. You have to lower their expectations to 202 miles an hour, but I don't think that will really bother that many people, as will the 2.9 0 to 60 time. Now, because it's a McLaren, there are some things that you just can't do without that would be deal breakers if they were missing. And one of those is the dihedral doors. And of course, as before, they open up and out, but unlike the 650S, they give you a lot more headroom to get in, and they also open up narrower so that it takes up less room in a parking space. Now, getting in and out of the car is still not the most graceful of things, but it does get a lot easier, even without the cutouts that the 720 Coupe has. Now, a convertible needs a convertible roof, and McLaren could have just used the same hard top as the 650S Spider had. Instead, they came up with a brand new system. It's a single-piece carbon fibre, and it opens and it closes in just 11 seconds, and you can use it at speeds at up to 35 miles an hour. It's a really elegant system, but if you pay $10,000 more, they'll replace it with an electrochromatic glass panel, which can go from 95% opaque to 30% transparent at the touch of a button. Now, the rear window is glass as well, and it's independently controlled to the roof. And that means that when the roof is up, you can have the rear window down and let more fresh air into the cabin. And when the roof is down, you can have the rear window up at any position you choose, which helps to cut turbulence. One of the things that McLaren always nails is the fit and finish of the cabin, and the switchgear here, it's all bespoke. There's no kind of parts bin sharing with any other manufacturer. Every dial, every knob, every lever, every button, they just feel just right. And that's exactly what you want when you're spending upwards of $315,000 on a supercar. Now, make no mistake, this can act as a Grand Tourer, sure, but it's also very, very fast. Okay. Now, the big question, and the question that people like Lamborghini and Ferrari are going to be asking, is, has McLaren done it? Have they made the perfect no-compromise supercar convertible? And of course, there's no easy answer to that question because everyone's tastes are different. I think this looks fantastic. You might prefer the look of a Lamborghini or a Ferrari 488 Lusso. And so that leaves us in a bit of a quandary. What I can tell you is this. This car may be $315,000 to start with, and it may have a very long options list of very expensive options, but put it all together and the feeling is so much more than that's $315,000 plus. The switchgear inside just feels that little bit better than the part spin stuff that you can find in some other luxury cars. That engine is just sublime, and the engine noise it makes is incredible. And the speed, you can't argue with 212 miles an hour, you can't argue with 0 to 60 in 2.9 seconds, and you can't argue with how the McLaren 720S Spider sounds. All in all, if I had a really big credit card limit that I could spend, I probably would buy a very big house first. But when I came to filling up the garage, I might be headed down to my nearest McLaren dealership, because even as a very pasty pale British man, this might be the very best way for me to get some sun. Drop kicked into the water again. Yeah, you can shut up, Doc. Everyone's a cynic.